And we've talked about technology is an enabler for a lot of these things. And clearly what we're doing then is technology allows us to gather a lot of information, normalize that information, and then get certain insights from that information. And I'm really curious to get some examples from each one of you about some of the things that you've observed in your customers, that how they've taken some of these new unique insights and transformed them into things that in a very pragmatic way improve the performance of the company. Don, maybe you can get us started on that topic.
Yeah, I think that is, of course, a very exciting part of the stuff that you can do with the technology, because it captures data and provides insights. So for us, that would be mainly looking at the relationships between the knowledge that you capture in the digital standard work and how that relates to performance. So to give you an example there, if you document the standards around the packaging line, for instance, in a food and beverage company, like we, for instance, do again for Heineken, what you then can do if you have global operations, you can look at, okay, we captured our body of knowledge here, and we validate the knowledge together, like with the front line, with engineers, with quality. So we know that at some point we have a good quality standard work available, and we let that travel the world. So we have different breweries where we utilize the knowledge, and we then analyze the data. So the data on how is the knowledge used in the daily operations, and how does that relate on the performance of that packaging line, say in Belgium, in Singapore, in Mexico. You can get a lot of new insights on how knowledge, like the quality of knowledge, the use of knowledge, can impact the performance on the shop floor. And we have a lot of measurements, data, and insights that we provide our customers with on how indeed their knowledge base and the use of the knowledge base impacts both productivity, efficiency, and safety in the workplace. So I think there's a lot of exciting stuff that you can get out of the use of technology and the data that it generates.
Yeah, that's great. Mike or Eric?
Yeah, I'll start. Repeating the question of, well, like, how can companies use insights, right, to improve performance? One of the most common things I see is that companies get really excited about technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, in the industrial settings, and they put sensors in the devices and they capture a lot of data, and they're super excited about the data they're gathering. And then they don't know what to do with the data. It's like to just archive it every 3 months, and hopefully it will serve in the future for some sort of post-mortem or what have you, right? So that's throwing great data to the trash, because if you don't use it almost immediately, you'll probably never use it. A lot of that also happens. I mean, what is more valuable than data? Knowledge. Your people have a ton of knowledge, and by not tapping into that knowledge, you're also doing the same thing. You're throwing data and knowledge, which is much more valuable, to the trash. So how can you turn that knowledge that is trapped in the head of your people? If your organization knew what it really knows, it would be unstoppable, right? So how can you tap into that very unstructured data set, by the way, the information that is in people's heads? But there are ways, like the tools are being discussed here and offered by this group of people, ways to turn that very unstructured data into a structured data set from which you can derive insights that'll help you drive up performance, improve quality, improve maintenance, and improve the skills and the retention of your people, and so forth.
Okay, great. Mike?
Yeah, just for us to kick by saying that the team with the most skills wins. I think how quickly can you adapt people from not knowing what they're doing to mastery level is going to fuel retention, high quality products, output, cross training. All of these things eventually find their way to the balance sheet that companies are striving to be profitable.
Yeah. And I think a sort of a last note for me on this is that, I spent part of my career working in the IoT sector in terms of building and manufacturing measurement with sensors and this very IoT-centric world. And one of the things that sort of tongue-in-cheek I like to say is, what about the IOP? What about the Internet of People? And being able to really tap into the knowledge, the experience, and the information and the observations that people have, which can also be and needs to be transformed into trends, into patterns, into knowledge and actions that are very time sensitive.